Have you ever felt like no matter how much you achieve, it's still not enough? As a leader, perfection can feel like the standard, but what if chasing it is actually holding you back? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on why perfection is a trap and how embracing imperfection could be the key to stronger leadership and more resilient teams. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back to Transformation Station, the podcast where we explore the mindsets and habits that fuel authentic growth, both in leadership and in life. I'm Adrienne Benton, and in this episode, we're diving into the idea of the imperfect leader. And whether you're leading a company or team, or even just yourself, this conversation will challenge the way you think about success. Well, today I'm really thrilled to welcome our very special guest. I want to welcome at this time to the Transformation Station, Giorgio. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Adrienne. Thanks so much for having me on this podcast. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I've been looking forward to this conversation. So listen, Giorgio, today we are exploring why is it that so many leaders fall into inauthenticity. And I'm looking forward to talking about not just why we fall right into this trap of trying to be perfect, right? But how do we embrace our imperfections as leaders and still have impact? So I'm really glad that you're here today. I want to start off by asking you this question. Why do you think so many leaders fall into this perfection trap? And then the other side of that question is, what do you think are some of the costs, the hidden costs that challenges our mindsets and challenge us with our teams, right? So why do you think so many leaders fall into the perfection trap?
Well, first of all, because many leaders have been trained to do that. So
True.
think about our life, right? We start with our parents. You have to get great grade at school. That is
Mm-hmm.
okay, but we want to push our family, our kids toward the excellence, right? Get
Mm-hmm.
great grades. You will go to wonderful high schools. You will be admitted into great colleges, and you will get a great job.
Mm-hmm. True.
The message should be different, in my opinion. That's the
Mm-hmm.
message I'm trying to give to my daughter. You have to get great grades because it's important that you give everything you can. Doesn't matter which job you will do,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to be prepared and having the willingness to be excellent at your work. Excellence versus perfection. That's the wiggle room that you should start um, teaching to your kids, advocating to your friends, and so on. Because perfection is very stressful, is
Mm-hmm.
rarely attainable, and
Mm-hmm.
the difference between excellence and perfection in many, many fields, not all the fields, it's so small that the difference is not that big. So
Mm-hmm.
think about software. Software have to be accurate, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but the perfect latency can be 4 or 5 nines. It's really needed. Yes, for some specific use cases, yes, it is. Financial transactions. But it's really needed for social media? Not really. It's really needed for newspaper? No, it's not. So why you have to consume all that energy to get
Mm-hmm.
perfection when with excellence you can hit the market, please your customers. And
Mm-hmm.
from a leadership standpoint, oh, you want to build a perfect plan. Yes, sure. Your perfect plan is obsolete as soon as its market is done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the importance is to go toward excellence and accept the imperfection in such a way that doesn't compromise the quality of your do of what you're
Mm-hmm.
saying. It's not like it's okay, can be can be done also like this. No, 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 no. You have always to set up high standards,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. At work, family, friendship, right? You want to be a good friend. Or you can also be a great friend. Actually, it's even better. Do you want a friend? No, that doesn't make any sense, right? It's
Right.
important that a great friend for your people,
Right.
for your friends. So that's why people is trending toward perfection. We have been trained by the system, and we see the system feeding great jobs to who went to the perfect college.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true. So true. So true. So it's interesting, as you're talking, I'm thinking to myself, you're right. Like this pressure that society puts on us to, like you said, go to the perfect school, right? We tend to elevate those who went to those Ivy League colleges, right? Who maybe they had a scholarship or they were a part of some varsity club, right? And the pressure to be this incredible flawless person and have incredible flawless performance, always get it right. When we talk about what are some of the hidden costs, I know I've seen over my career, whether it's personal or whether what I've seen in others, sometimes when that pressure is on us or we allow ourselves to be pressured to always get it right, it can be fueled by a fear of failure. And what happens then is we start comparing ourselves. Oh, look at Giorgio. Oh, we start comparing ourselves to our peers, right? And instead of having a mindset of team, we have a mindset of competition. And I like what you said a moment ago, right? You said like we all should strive for excellence. Yes, we should strive to be excellent, right? That's healthy. But perfectionism, that's
No,
not healthy.
perfectionism is killing your personality, first of all. Second is killing whatever goal you have, because you
Mhm,
will always, you will never be ready. So if you're never
mhm,
be ready, or you are ready too late, you will always be the second that hit the market, the
mhm,
second that hit a specific goal.
mhm,
Excellence is important. You
mhm,
want great food, so it's
mhm,
important that you cook to your best.
mhm,
You
mhm.
want to be, I don't know, a great soccer player. You don't have to be a professional player, but you have to get out of the field knowing that you give everything you can.
Yes.
I'm a long distance runner. I don't care what is my position at the end of the race,
Mhm,
but I love to be ready for that race. So I spend weeks training and I do my best. And when I get out of it,
mhm,
um, I usually do good enough results. I look at what I had in front of me to try to
mhm,
understand how I can get there.
mhm.
And I look back and I say, okay, but there is people behind me, so I'm doing something right.
Yes.
And then I keep challenging myself, but in a positive way, not as, oh, I have to eat that mark, or I have to eat that thing. And that's why perfection, to me, it's the enemy of many, many, many things that we do. It's
Yes.
okay being imperfect. It's okay as a leader being wrong. I think it's the most powerful thing. If you are a leader that know everything, who you think that will help you in your team? Nobody, right? Why they
That's right.
should help you? You know already
That's right.
everything. Teach
That's
us.
right. That's right. That's right. And you stifle creativity, you stifle innovation, you stifle those on your team to feel as though they have a voice and can positively contribute. So Giorgio, here in Transformation Station, while we have our episodes, we always like to take a moment or two to give our listeners and viewers a moment to reflect. Giorgio has shared some really serious gems with us for us as leaders to stop and take an assessment. And I want to invite you to ask yourself a question. Where in my leadership am I prioritizing being perfect over being present and effective? And how is that impacting my team's willingness to take risks? So again, as always, we invite you to stop, to write, to think, to pause on the replay if you have to come back, but take a moment and ask yourself this real leadership question. And when you ask yourself the question, take accountability for the answer. Today just might be that day where you get an opportunity to reset. Okay. So Giorgio, I want to ask you this question. Can you share with us either a personal story, or an example where embracing imperfection actually made you or someone you know, someone you've worked with, a better leader? Can you share an example or a story of that?
I can definitely share a story about my own professional journey. So there was a time where I thought that eating perfection was important, and
Mhm.
that would happened several times in many projects where I was pushing the team, eating the deadline
Mhm.
without applying full imperfection.
Mhm.
It's maybe a decade ago, but for me, delivering in time and high quality was everything.
Mhm.
And I realized that this can work if you are applying this rule to yourself, and that's it, but not to everybody else. I started to
Mhm.
see people in my team losing, I started to see myself losing the trust of
Mhm.
my people because I
Mhm.
was applying standards that were
Mhm.
applying only to me. So for me, it
Mercy.
was absolutely okay
Mhm.
taking 3 4 hours in the night and crunching all the remaining tasks and do these things. When I realized that perfection is the enemy also of the personal relationship with people, I
Yes.
started to basically uh, model my standards toward excellence. The other important lesson that I learned is that excellence is a relative concept. What is excellent for me is not maybe
That's.
not excellent for you, and vice versa.
Mhm.
What I learned, and at that time I was a team lead, but not yet a people manager, was that having a common sense, a common shared definition of how you want to, when you want to mark down something, is fantastic
Mhm.
because then you blend the different standards that everybody has, still in something that is excellent, again, far from perfection,
Mhm.
but then it's a shared agreement on what does it mean getting something done. That
Mhm.
was pivotal in my career because
Mhm.
a few months after I understood that, the team was so trusting me that I get into the people
Mhm.
manager track and I started to grow and build a trustful relationship. Again, I'm
Mhm.
not talking about perfect relationship. Of course, there
Correct.
is people in my career that didn't like me as a manager, I'm sure.
Mhm.
But there is also a lot of people that praised me. And that
Mhm.
was giving me the signs that I was doing the right thing. And the right thing was stopping to apply my concept of perfection or excellence to
Mhm.
everybody, but try to understand how excellence look like for
Mhm.
different people in different contexts, in different company, and in different time. Now,
Mhm.
what is perfection or excellence right now? Think about the LLMs, right? LLMs are very good at generating the next most likely word that makes sense in a specific context, right? Or that people want to hear.
Mhm.
So it's definitely not perfect. It's excellent, yes, but there are so many level of potential hallucinations, mistakes, and so on. It is still very imperfect, but it's super powerful.
Mhm.
That's something that is teaching us that perfection is the enemy. Excellence, it's a very good goal.
Mhm.
Mistakes are acceptable, although in the context of AI, LLM, Gen AI, the guardrails that you have to apply to mistakes are way stricter because they can generate damage to the human being.
Mhm.
But that was my pivotal moment. And that's why when I started to use intensively Gen AI a few years ago, I was having fun about the mistakes, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
kind of helping the model providing feedback, right? Rather than judging and saying, oh, this is crap or this is not working. The technology is not yet ready. How many times you heard that, right? Okay, if it's not ready, what could be done to make it ready?
Mhm.
Being positive and understand that excellence is not something that has a strict definition for everybody.
Mhm. Mhm. I love that. So I'm going to tell you what I got from this, right? I love the fact that you said that as a leader, you had this standard of excellence for yourself that you were then putting on your people. And what I love about your story is that you became at some point aware that the people were pulling back, right? That this standard of excellence that you have for yourself, you were then putting it on them, which was causing them to step back. And I want to pause right there. To our leaders who are listening, it's really important that we stay self-aware and aware of what's happening in our team, with our teams, and in the culture in which we're working in. Giorgio, so many times we get into the routine and kind of what they call the rat race of life, right? You just go, 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 go. That sometimes we stop being aware of what's going on around us. But because you had that situation awareness, you were able to see. And then the next piece is, not only did you just see, because sometimes we see things and we don't do anything about it, right? But you said, this is not working. I need to reset and do something different. And you said in a short time later, you were able to see how the team began to come back towards you, right? And you're right. Not everybody's going to like us as leaders. I don't think that we as leaders, we should strive to be liked. I think that we should strive to do the right thing, to be excellent, right? And to be open and approachable. There are always going to be the one or two who, sometimes we will have to agree to disagree, as long as we can respect, value, and still accomplish the mission, right? So let me ask you this, because there's somebody who's listening right now, and they're saying, okay, Giorgio, Adrienne, I hear you. I agree with you, but I have this question. And here's the question. How can leaders find that balance, right? How can we find that balance for striving for excellence, like you talked about, and at the same time allowing there to be space to be human, to make mistakes, to grow? How can we go about finding that balance?
Well, it depends, of course, on how big is your team or in which situation we're talking about leadership. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, my recommendation is to listen to your people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have a team of 1,000, you cannot listen to all the 1,000. It will be not scalable. But you can build communication channels to listen to your people. The important part of this, it's really actively listening. Active listening sometimes is very, very misinterpreted. A lot of people think, oh, if I repeat what I understood, I'm actively listening. Now, that's step one. You may want to do this. You may also want to skip it. Sounds kind of silly, right? Repeating everything that somebody is saying. You want to understand what is the core message and how you can react, not a human reaction. Okay, I hear you, Adrienne. We can do this thing differently. That's my first thought. What do you think? Very simple, very linear, right? Or if you don't have an answer right away, I see your point. I understand it. Let me get back to you. But then get back to this person. I will Slack you later my thoughts. Whatever. I will text you later my thoughts. Now you are really showing them that their input is generating an outcome. It's rare that you get a completely wrong input. And if you get it, it's a wonderful opportunity, not for diminishing the input,
Right.
but for course correcting. And then it's when you became a real leader. Although I don't like the word leader, because the real leader is the one that protects the pack from the back, not lead in front.
Correct.
But when you do this, you are really creating the communication channel and you're really understanding what people is doing. The other thing is being vulnerable. Being vulnerable doesn't mean anything dramatic. If you don't know something,
Yes.
there is no problem. If when you admit to somebody that sorry, I don't understand, can you repeat? It's very unlikely that the person will say, no, I will not repeat. Or, I really don't understand what this means. Can you help me? Or can you share offline a few links that I can read to educate myself? Why people should say no, right? And you're showing them that you're not a superhuman that is coming in with all the solutions, or that you have a certification in X, Y, and Z, and then you know more than that. No. Be vulnerable, be approachable, especially in one-on-ones. Then be also able to offer leadership when needed. So management is not a popularity contest. You're absolutely right. It's making sometimes easy decisions, sometimes tough calls.
I agree
Well,
1000%.
do it, especially if it's what Amazon define as a two-way door decision, something that is reversible, and call it out. I'm making this decision. I think can be undo very easily, so I'm
Mhm,
taking the risk. Does
mhm,
anybody see anything extremely wrong in this decision that I'm making? No.
mhm,
Okay, then let's go ahead.
mhm, mhm.
But you left the door open to everybody. It's
Yes.
reversible. Come
Yes.
back to me if we have to reverse it. We'll revisit later.
Mhm,
Now you are embracing this imperfection.
mhm, mhm,
When you go full steam on a single topic, you cut everything out of your team. They will
mm,
not communicate. You will stop creativity. They will not speak with you. They will let you fail.
mhm,
They
mhm,
will not be supportive as they should be.
mhm.
But it's not their fault. It's not that the team is failing you. It's you that you're failing the team.
Mercy. Mercy. This is serious right here. So, again, to those who are listening and watching, I'm inviting you to stop, pause, and reflect. I need you to do this on the replay because Giorgio dropped some serious practical gems, right? Ones that we can absolutely understand because of everyday leadership that we experience. And I want to ask and invite you to ask yourself this question: am I creating an environment where my team feels safe to learn through mistakes? Or are they focused on avoiding failure than pursuing growth? This is a serious question to all of our leaders. Ask yourself this question. And I invite you to even discuss this question with your team, right? Ask the team to be able to help answer this question to really understand what is the culture in your work environment. Okay, so Giorgio, here's another question, right? From your experience, what are some practical ways leaders can model imperfection? And you kind of touched on it a little bit, but here's the last piece: how do we model imperfection without undermining our authority or credibility? Right, like you said, we should be vulnerable. How do I be vulnerable without losing the team's respect, or the team not respecting me as a leader? How do I model imperfection?
Well, you said a few words that struck my attention. So, credibility with the team doesn't mean that you have the answers to everything,
Mhm,
but that you can do something for them.
mhm,
I recently started to work part time with a startup, and in a very specific field, speech recognition, where I have some experience from more than 10 years ago.
mhm,
So, as a leader, you have to understand what you can do for the team. And guess what? I reduced the time of meetings, and that was appreciated. I started to take ownership of writing down weekly reports,
mhm,
and I'm gaining the respect of this team because I'm doing things on their behalf, helping them. Still, I'm asking questions because I see where they are going, and I think that I can, with my question, influence a little bit the way they're thinking.
mhm,
But I'm treating them as the expert in the room. So when I rarely say, okay, I think we should make this decision now, they respect my willingness to make the decision because I
mm,
built trust by helping them and not by being authoritative.
mm,
Authority doesn't mean that you give work orders or that people is scared about you. People must be respectful of your intelligence. That's the
mm,
point. So when
mhm,
a team sit down with you, they should know that you will ask questions. They shouldn't be afraid of the question, but they should
mhm,
take it more like a joke. Damn,
mm,
he got also this, right?
mhm,
And then trigger a conversation. Maybe was something that was missing, maybe something that it can be moved toward excellence. Maybe it's a question that is not answered in a document or in a design, but is already in their mind. In any case, you should
mhm,
respect your brain, your intelligence, your IQ,
mhm,
not
mhm.
anything else. And if you build that, you will be naturally an authority for them. And you will see that you will not have to use your authority too often.
Mm, I love that. It's almost like you're showing them the human side of life, right? You're showing them. One of the things that I often strive with my team is I say to them quite frequently, I'm not asking you to be perfect, but I am asking you to be progressive. I want my team to stay in a learning state where when a mistake happens, they are asking themselves before I ask them, what lesson did you learn? Right? They're pulling out the gems that will help us to refine, to enhance, right? To move forward. You know, I tell my team all the time, we don't stand still, we move forward. Even if we have a pause, we're still moving forward in that pause because we're learning, we're growing, we're maintaining. The other thing is, I think when leaders take on this mindset and this stance, it causes those who you are leading to treat themselves the same way and then treat each other the same way, which then you will have a team that is more centered and more willing to move forward together. And you said something earlier that struck me as far as like shared responsibility, right? The team, the mission, the achievements, they don't belong to just the leader. They should not belong to just the leader at all. I mean, really and truly,
Absolutely.
it should be the team that's accomplishing it, and the leader's like, oh man, you guys are so great. Let's go. Not I'm so great. Come on. You know, it shouldn't be that way.
Absolutely. So leaders should be aware that without a team, they can't deliver anything. And team should be aware that without a leader that shield them from some distractions, they will never be able to have the focus time that is needed to achieve something. So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. I like that. It's a win-win. Hashtag those of you who are watching and listening right now, go ahead in the comments and the chats, but hashtag win-win. I love that. And here's a leadership principle that says effective leaders drive excellence not by demanding perfection, but by encouraging learning, iteration, and forward momentum. And to our highly high driven leaders who are listening and watching right now, we invite you to encourage learning, iteration, and forward momentum with your teams. You first must encourage that with yourself, right? So it goes back to taking an assessment, understanding who you are, how you lead, right? Being willing to reset, refine, and then try it tomorrow. Try it tomorrow with your team, right? Instead of driving excellence by demanding perfection, you got to get it right. Why don't you walk in tomorrow and reset, do something different by encouraging them to learn, encouraging them to grow and move forward. All right. So we are now turning the corner on this conversation. It's so amazing. I'm loving it. And I want to ask you this question, right? The leaders, they've been listening. They are ready now to reset, refine, Giorgio. They're ready. And here's the question. Where can a leader begin to start to practice not striving for perfection? Like, what simple things can leaders do to now start? Let's say you have that leader who they've been dealing in the realm of perfection, right? But they're like, you know what? I hear this. I'm convicted. I want to do different. How would you encourage them? Where would you encourage them to start?
The simplest thing is think what you are delivering and who is that delivery for. So if it's for a customer, if it's for another department, if it's for a friend, it's for a family member, think about what they want and what they need, and frame your best guess or your best attempt to satisfy what they need, and think a tiny bit on their behalf, because maybe they're asking something that they don't really need. That will help you to remodel your next milestone, most likely towards something that is more impactful and at the same time more achievable. And that will be an excellent milestone, but not the perfect one.
I love it. That was a perfect way to end. You would just wrap it all up and tie it in together. Listen, we have had a rich conversation, and Giorgio, like, this has been amazing. we only like unpeeled just a little bit of the onion. So we may have to bring you back for a part 2 so we can dive into this some more, because this really is a vital conversation for leaders today. And I know that there are leaders out there that want to contact you, right? Take a moment, please, and just share with us, how could someone get in contact with you?
The best way, it's LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is my name and surname, Giorgio Natili. That is very easy to find. Message me. I'm usually open to any conversation. Don't try to sell me everything, please. The second thing is giorgionatili.com, my personal website. At the time of recording, is still not fully live, but it will be live in the next couple of weeks. So you will have over there some contact information, a contact form, and I'm be happy to engage in a conversation, coaching, speaking at your company or your conference, do whatever that I can to help you toward this journey to prove that the imperfection is the way to lead.
Fantastic. Transformation Station community, we want to support Giorgio. So I'm going to invite you. You see the links here on the screen. They'll also be in the description box. I want to invite you to reach out to him. Let him know that you saw or heard this podcast episode. Ask him questions. He has resources. He also is available to come to your organization to be a presenter, a speaker. Like, utilize this resource right here. This is fantastic. Giorgio, again, thank you so much. It's been wonderful to have you with us today.
Adrienne, it has been a pleasure, and thanks so much to everybody that is listening or watching.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Transformation Station. I want to remind you that leadership is not perfection. Connection is. And if this episode resonated with you, I invite you right now to take a moment of reflection. Ask yourself, where in your own leadership are you holding on to perfection, and what might open up if you embrace progress instead? If you enjoyed today's conversation, please subscribe, leave a review, share this episode with someone who needs a reminder that imperfection is not a weakness, it's a strength. I would love to hear from you. Giorgio would love to hear from you. So share your stories with us on the social media platforms that are available to you. Well, until next time, keep on leading with courage, with authenticity, and just a little bit of imperfection. This is your Transformation Station, your stop for growth.